Hello, this is Ryan Ellis. Today I'm going to present to you the greatest, the ultimate, thus far, Jext Telez overview video that you've ever seen or heard of. And it's not, I suppose, the ultimate because of the 9 standard pedals, and I'm going to play through 10 Jext Telez pedals. I'm going to play through 8 of the 9, so the only one I lack is the Jext FUZZ, and I suppose the Jext Right, and maybe a couple other one-offs. And if you have one of those, please send it to me. User's note: for longest battery life, always unplug instrument cable from pedal when not in use. Today, I will attempt to demonstrate 10 different Jext Telez pedals. I bet the Jext is spelled J-E-X-T. Oh, by the way, I like a comedian named Norm MacDonald, and Norm MacDonald's humor may or may not play a significant role in the following 19 pages of script, about 2 per pedal, thereabouts. Jext Telez makes the best fuzz units on planet Earth. Buy one today and you will know what all the buzz surrounding Jext Telez FUZZ is about. Paul Newman told me you never get over it. I'd tell you, I'm all right now, but last week I was in rough shape. That's Rodney Dangerfield. Back to Norm MacDonald. Are you a jingoist? I don't know if these pedals are made of cast iron, but they are 100% made in America. Made in Detroit, in fact. Metro Detroit, I suppose, more particularly. So the table of contents for the pedals I'm going to be passing through today. The 10 pedals are going to be in order: the White Pedal version 2, the Canyon Climber 2, the Unidrive, the White Pedal version 3, very excited about that, the Range Lord Blue Tip Black Glass OC44, the Buzz Tone, the high gain triple RCA spaghetti logo 2N404 Buzz Tone, the Dizzy Tone version 7, the Dizzy Tone version 5, triple black glass, the Black Drone Wasp, and then the Jext Face. And then I'll close out making a little reference to the Jext FUZZ and give you guys a nice dozen requests, as I suppose I am wont to do. So I'm going to start off now with the White Pedal version 2. Just a couple notes on the White Pedal version 2 before I start playing it, because as you know, you want to hear about it before you hear it. Yeah, right, but okay, bear with me. My favorite band... I'm just going to take a very long, shaggy dog path, beat around the bush here. My favorite band of all time is the Beatles. Ever since discovering their music in my early teen years, I have been seeking their sound, which can be had with the Jext Telez White Pedal versions 1 through 3. I am sad that the Beatles never made it far into the 1970s, but someone had to sit on an amp and sow division between John, Paul, George, and Ringo. And we all know that the Beatles never would have split up as a group if it had not been for, you guessed it, Frank Stallone. And now from the Reverb ad for the White Pedal version 2. This is the first Jext Telez pedal I ever bought. Got me into the whole Jext Telez perfection, appreciation, and here I am. Built around the same carefully crafted circuit that recreates the gritty vintage tones of George Harrison's Vox Conqueror solid-state amp, the Jext Telez White Pedal version 2 is a fast avenue to the Fab Four's tone. New in the second make is a set of vintage transistors which provide even more filter EQ depth and nicely round out the edges on the fuzz. And also from the Tumblr page for Jext Telez on the White Pedal version 2, the White Pedal delivers stripped-down, raw, holographic, direct, timeless deconstructionist. Guitarists are consistently calling the White Pedal one of the best pedals ever. It leaps out of mixes and is insanely flexible. The EQ serves to put guitars in an audible position, even in dense mixes. You get the exact sound of the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, King Crimson, all these bands use this Vox Conqueror amp. My first Jext Telez pedal, as I said, was the white pedal version 2. I got it used at Guitar Center. I was getting into fuzz at the time, and I never quite found a fuzz that sounded amazing. And as soon as I saw this on the website, for my local right down the street Guitar Center, even though it was quite costly, I jumped at it, and I'm glad that I did. Such a beautiful, beautiful sounding pedal. In fact, I use this for the intro and outro music for my legendary Lee Kennedy documentary / anthology series. I love that on the side here it says custom Ebling setting, and the Ebling setting is any of the EQ filters, and then dimed out on the volume, on the gain, have the treble at 12 o'clock, and then the bass dimed out. So basically roll back the treble is the custom Ebling setting, at least for this particular, but I suppose for any white pedal version 2. I'm giving away a secret here, but one that I'm sure Bob Ebling would be happy to have you guys enjoy for yourselves, and not just be one that I could benefit from. Very, very cool. I love all this art, even on the bottom, this art. and yes, so now let's hear this wonderful pedal. Now I've got the bass rolled back for that cactuar sound, famous on this pedal. Turning down the treble on my amp to kind of dial back the sibilance on that tone, because I had it all the way up. I've got the gain just totally cut off, so this is strictly now a tone box. fuzz, another trick you can do, and I'm not going to do it today because I just kind of want to. This is an overview. I gotta move on. But you can turn off the fuzz, the second knob here. You know, the Paul, John, Paul, George, Ringo, Yoko on the side, and run another fuzz, particularly another Jext Telez fuzz, through this, and get wonderful effects. You know, in other words, put the cactuar effect on any other Jext Telez fuzz. I've done it. I love it. It's wonderful. Oh, and I should add that I'm tall and I'm making this too short for me. I should add that the my anthology documentary series, Legendary Lee Kennedy, you can see it. Anita Baker came by, but you weren't there to your store?
Yeah, she shopped in this store. I worked at the law department here for about 8 or 9 years upstairs.
This building right here?
Yeah, I don't know where you get records at now. I don't know if people still buy records.
They do.
They do? Tapes, stuff like that? I don't have to make up anything, but I care less about that.
Lou Rawls said to Lee one day, "I thought your name was Lee. Why are they calling you Robert?"
Well,
what did you do with the money?
What do I do with the money?
Yeah, the money that your dad gave you for voice lessons.
Oh.
What is the scariest thing you have ever done?
The scariest thing I ever done? Yeah. I'm going to say it. It's the scariest thing I ever done. Yeah, what's his name? What's his name? I think out, man.
You ready?
Yeah.
Lester Young.
Yeah, that's it. Lester Young. He called the president.
Yes. Right here. Ooh, so wonderful. Lee Kennedy, what a legend. In fact, I'm actually about to write a commemorative historic plaque. You can find anyone watching at home, come to Detroit to Eastern Market. There's a place called Bert's Barbecue, and right now and for a time, for all time, is going to be a collage of Lee Kennedy's personal effects, and I'm working on writing a summary of Lee's life that you can see there yourself, visit, and be amazed. And in the meantime, watch the legendary Lee Kennedy. Every video, do 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 do. Hello. I'm using this pedal on that. That's the sound with an octave. I have a little octave effect on it, which is why I want the Jext Fox so much. It's the only octave pedal that Jext Telez so far has put out, and I do not have it. It's the rarest Jext Telez pedal, in my opinion. Well, second rarest. Arguable. So anyways, this is a wonderful pedal. I've used it innumerable times in my own personal work, and I'm going to make reference to a little bit later, but it may be the most common, even though I don't think it is numerically, but according to Reverb, this is the most common Jext Telez pedal. It would appear, and I'm going to make a case for that later, but got to move on from here. MoveOn.org. All right, so from the White Pedal version 2, we head on to the Canyon Climber 2. The Canyon Climber 2 is a faithful recreation and improvement on the Japanese Shin FY2 companion fuzz pedal, or so the Germans would have us believe. Devoted fans of the FY2 companion fuzz will be much appreciative of the hipster and vanity switch made available as an improvement on the companion climber. I used to think that the Canyon Climber was a sometimes unwieldy pedal for the beastly buzz it gave. But I have since discovered the greatness of the hipster setting on chords. In fact, I must praise the hipster setting that I assume most folks skip in favor of the louder vanity setting. I have had this pedal for over a year, and I adore the subtler sound of the hipster setting. The hipster setting is the original, while the 10 decibel boost giving vanity setting adds another transistor to change the sound in both tone and volume. Here is the new version of the Canyon Climber with graphics and color schemes designed by Andrea Nakla. It's one of those names. Nakhla, designer of Jonathan Wilson's Rare Birds album cover. Exact same guts and tone as the limited edition originals. All 4 colors, this is one of the 4, are the exact same sound-wise, only differing in the outward, the shell on the outside. This is from Jext Telez's Reverb page. Jext Telez ripped apart Jonathan Wilson's companion fuzz. He was angry, we'll say, but he didn't press charges. Instead, the judge ordered that Jext Telez do an exact version of the pedal, nail the original, and add a switch that boosts the output many times and flattens out the response of the original while adding unreal sustain. Both parties were well satisfied and retired deep into the canyon to commiserate. The word commiserate, I looked up, it means to feel or express sympathy, to condole. Condole means to grieve. So I think they actually meant to celebrate, not commiserate. But this pedal right here, one more little thing about it, or a couple more things. So here it is, the Jext Telez. I found a few write-ups on Reverb for these various pedals, and they do such a good job, especially when Jext Telez says it themselves. That's one of the things I should say that really knocks me out about this outfit, this company, Jext Telez. They make amazing sounding pedals, amazing looking pedals. Their descriptions are as good as the sound of them. Just everything is the best, and I have nothing but praise. So here's a well-written description of many of this particular, just like any Jext Telez pedal. So many great people, gifted with gab, have a lot to gleefully gab about these fuzz units made by Jext Telez. So here it is, the Jext Telez Jonathan Wilson's Canyon Climber fuzz pedal. Take Jonathan's original companion that has already appeared on countless amazing records. A stunning example of the greatness of the companion played on records by Father John Misty, Roger Waters of Pink Floyd, Jonathan Wilson, and many others by Jonathan. Then fix the shortcomings and add those to the pedal in a switch which changes modes from the original to a newly third transistorized version, boosted way up in volume, flatten out them frequencies a bit, not too much, and add sustain for days and long canyon nights. Oh, such good writing. You will be stunned by the same classic vibes that appeared on countless spaghetti western themes and made the landscape of artists from Radiohead to the Black Keys to the Jesus and Mary chain, only now with improvements requested and dialed in by Jonathan Wilson. In the company's fuzz stable, the Canyon Climber is the far outest, a seemingly innocent little box. It's modeled after the original companion FY2 that made Japan's Shin-ei, a company renowned for its wild effects, which included wacky wahs that emulated sirens and hurricanes, as well as the legendary Univibe sold to Univox. The FY2 was also badge engineered and sold under numerous other monikers, including Jax, Telestar, and Zenta. Jext Telez's take comes courtesy of guitarist-producer Jonathan Wilson, Connor Oberst, Father John Misty, whose love affair with the Shin-ei is no secret. One of the lovable characteristics of the FY2 was its relentless fuzz capability, and the Canyon Climber retains that in spades. Basically, there's no fuzzless setting here beyond hitting the bypass foot switch, that is. The biofeedback dial controls fuzz intensity here on the left, but in truth, and on the right is nature, the volume, but in truth acts more like an EQ, adjusting and only subtly the tonal range of said fuzz. Kick the pedal on and you're rewarded with sonic mayhem, but it's a sonorous mayhem, lovely in its degree of blur. Single notes are all prickly, double stops are pure barbed wire. It's a killer wall of fuzz. Original FY2s, this is the Cannon Climber 2, original FY2s are also famous, or more accurately, infamous, for providing lower output volume than the input signal. This new iteration is true to the original, yet also includes a volume control nature, as well as a toggle vanity, between vanity and hipster. Hipster being the original, vanity being the third transistorized edition, that provides muscular boost, as much as 10 decibels of oomph. This is a welcome feature, though it would be nice if it was foot switchable for solos. So now, let's hear the Cannon Climber 2. If you own the original Cannon Climber 1, the Cannon Climber 2 is the same pedal, just different art. Now from hipster to the 10 decibel boost of vanity. Woo! Let me adjust the microphone now. So yes, evil, foreboding, snarling. The Canyon Climber 2 has all of those in spades. I used to think that the Canyon Climber 2 was the loudest Jext Telez pedal, and then I got the Buzz Tone, which I'll get to later. And then I thought that was the loudest, and then I got the Black Drone Wasp, which I'll get to penultimately. That is the loudest Jext Telez pedal that I have played through, at least myself. Maybe there is a louder one. I'd love to hear if there is in the comments below, or just send me a message otherwise. But one more thing on the Canyon Climber 2 evil, snarling, foreboding sound. You get at least 2 pedals in one, because the pedal sounds quite different between the hipster and vanity settings, as we just heard. Flatter response, louder response, different sound. More vintagey on the hipster than the vanity, in my opinion. It is not just about the 10 decibel gain, but also about the tone of the fuzz, how it changes between the two settings. Something to take note of. I could keep playing this pedal. I love this pedal, but I must move on. Again, this is an overview. The next pedal I'm going to go through, from the Canyon Climber 2 to the Unidrive. Lovely, lovely pedal. You will enjoy this one. The distinctive look of the Fairchild black button transistors contained in both the original Univox Unidrive and the Jext Telez Unidrive never ceases to excite me. No one nailed the Unidrive quite like Jext Telez. In fact, you can buy one for a song directly from Jext Telez at the time of this recording on their Reverb page. And to back that up, let me make a strong case. People have their complaints, they have their compliments, they have their put downs, they have their praise. Obviously, praise for the whole range of Jext Telez pedals is that it's premium. It's what I always wanted, holy grail sounds, heard of but not seen. Well, the Jext Telez brand, sometimes people say, oh, it's so much for a single guitar pedal, the price they complain about. But I dare say that the Jext Telez pedals, across the range of them, they hold up their value, if not gain in value. And for what you're getting, the hours, the man hours, I think they charge a pretty reasonable cost. And so for the Unidrive in particular, right now, I'm not going to say the price. I don't know. You can look it up. But right now, this same Unidrive, just different colors, same everything else, is for sale on Jext Telez's Reverb page. I get nothing from this. I'm just doing this because I adore the brand. And the original Unidrive, you are dumb not to buy this fuzz that is currently available on Reverb. They use the exact same parts as the originals, which sold originally, this is my point here, for $50, which, calculated for inflation, is north of $400 in the current year of 2024, Anno Domini, in the year of our Lord. The Jext Telez Unidrive sold by Jext Telez are currently listed for just over half, adjusted for inflation, the price as the originals. Buy that pedal today. This fuzz sounds so big for being in such a pedal board friendly enclosure. The originals came in giant enclosures, and the same parts were used to make the Jext Telez Unidrive. They're currently for sale on their page. Now back to my other... I wrote so much about these pedals. I have like 2 sets of notes for each pedal. Wrote so much. I copy-pasted. I took a lot from Reverb, but just so much good written by the Jext Telez bros themselves. So again, this is a great deal right now. That's the equivalent of getting it half price, the original, and it's using the original parts, and it's amazing. Way easier to work with enclosure and everything premium. So here is from their Reverb page. In 2015, Jext Telez found 2 original Univox Unidrive pedals. Yes, the same Holy Grail pedal once used by Jimi Hendrix and Jimmy Page. Upon hearing the majesty of these originals, the mission was clear. We must remake them and make new ones that sound exactly the same. We combined forces with Detroit Wizards Acme Audio and found a huge stash of new old stock low-gain black button silicon transistors. We removed and measured every component of the original pedal and found the formula. Note, the published schematics on the internet are wrong. We designed our new board, spent weeks measuring out perfect trios of low HFE transistors. We slaved over getting this one right, and now proudly present the overdrive flavor of 1970 right now in 2016. What to expect tonally? The Unidrive with the drive knob dialed all the way down is a warm amp-like transparent bit of magic. The low end is full with the signature of a 412 cabinet, full, punchy, yet nice and even up top, a natural open top. Dial the drive knob up and enter into gnarly saturation. Dial the drive knob farther up and enter into fuzzed overdrives. Waveforms separate violently, complex tone colors emerge, harmonically shattered beauty, like a natural disaster. You can hear a lot of great early 1970s tones. Dial in transistorized fuzz tones, or dial things back to just warm up and boost your amp with some punch. If you add some Unidrive to a great tone, it's going to get even better. With 35 decibels of clean gain and a ton of headroom on board, the Unidrive is capable of taking your rig to many new places. Distortion boxes were the tool of rebellion that formed magnificent new textures of communication. The Unidrive is one of the earliest overdrives ever made, and an incredibly great one. We are proud to play a part in reintroducing these textures of rebellion now. Man, that's some good writing. And for a good pedal, you're about to hear, I know I'm saying a lot, but it bears being said. These feature our original Fairchild trio of black button transistors, just like the originals as used by Jimmy Page and others. Get your Zep on and hear what vintage overdrive on the verge of fuzz is all about. Same build and sound as the black models that already sold out right now. They're selling orange models. Same sound. And then one more little write-up on it. The Univox Unidrive is perhaps one of the great white whales of pedaledom. That is until Jext Telez set about putting everyone's Ahab-like quest to rest. After actually acquiring some genuine Univox pedals, Jext Telez was determined to recreate the exact tone in a smaller, pedalboard-friendly true bypass design. The arduous task ultimately produced the Unidrive, arguably the most accurate clone to date. Full, punchy low end, but turn it up and enter, as Jext Telez puts it, into gnarl land, or a heavenly plane where saturation gives way to enlightening third eye opening overdrive, where communication is a textural kinetic experience, and Hendrix and Page number as your peers. This is a solid fuzz pedal that is well-rounded and has great power and mood. Jimmy Page was pictured in a Univox Unidrive advertisement print ad, playing a Unidrive while using his famous cello bow on his guitar. 8 years after the deeply fishy shark incident at Seattle's Edgewater Inn, Led Zeppelin returned to the hotel and in the course of the night, just one night, threw 5 television sets into the Puget Sound down below. James Blum, the hotel manager... Where's Blum? Oh, I almost set off the fire alarm. James Blum, the hotel manager, charged the band $1,500 for the 5 TVs, and when Led Zeppelin's tour manager, Richard Cole, went to the front office to pay for the damages, the young hotel clerk said, "I've heard that Led Zeppelin has a reputation for throwing TVs, but I thought it was all hokum. Can you tell me, what does it feel like to just toss a TV out of your window?" Richard Cole replied, "Kid, there are some things in life that you've got to experience for yourself," and he gave the clerk $500. "Here you go, mate. Go toss a TV courtesy of Led Zeppelin." Reminds me of my honeymoon. A quiet innovation Led Zeppelin is not credited for enough is that Led Zeppelin was ahead of Prince in replacing their names with symbols. Their 4th album was just symbols. It was untitled. They call it Led Zeppelin 4 or Zoso, even though it's not even meant to be taken as a word, but just rather a symbol. Now, without any further ado, let's hear the Jext Telez Unidrive. Wow. Man, I am such an amazing git fiddleist that I just broke my jalapeno, my V-Pick red jalapeno. I love this pick. These things cost like $10. And I lose them, and I only have like 4 left. So now I gotta go get another jalapeno. I don't even like spicy things. Capsaicin and we don't agree. Okay, now from the jalapeno to the mummy, the flagship pick, the flagship V-Pick, made by Vince himself in Memphis, Tennessee. Hey, if you got a bunch of V-Picks or something even better or equivalent to V-Picks, again, taking donations. What's better than a V-Pick? I just discovered these like maybe a couple years ago. I used to think like specialized picks were for dorks that didn't know how to play, but then I'm like, wow, now I can really play. So, had to eat that humble pie. Oh, so I could keep playing this pedal. I adore this pedal. I'm playing it through my 1964, as all these pedals are today, through my 1964 K803 tube amp. I believe it's an 8-inch, 8-inch field coil speaker, Oaktron original, and a 3-watt amp, RCA tubes, all original. Serviced by a legendary amp tech here in Metro Detroit, to be not a Widowmaker anymore. But anyways, I say all that to say this is a tiny amp, practice amp, student amp from back in the day. It doesn't quite get the fidelity that any of these pedals can really reveal because of how premium, boutique, couture, no, that's not the right word, how just amazing they are, we'll just say. And I say that to say the Jext Telez Unidrive, any of these pedals as well, but through just plug it straight into your interface, sounds a bit different than actually it sounds I've been showing you here with this pedal, with this amp, I mean. That said, all these pedals do better working with your amp. They're meant to work with your amp, with your guitar, with everything, with how you play. Working with it beautifully, adding to it beautifully. And so anyways, this really sings is what I'm trying to say. This really sings when you just plug it straight into your interface, more so than I'm getting it to do here. Like, oh, the national anthem with the Unidrive, oh, you better try it out. Get yourself a Unidrive just for that reason alone. They're so inexpensive on Reverb, sold by the makers themselves, so support the artists. They really are artists and engineers. They're multi-hyphenate, multi-hat wearing, multi-plate spinning at the same time geniuses over there at Jext Telez. I've said it before, I'll say it again, hats off to those fellas, because they just knock it out of the park time and again. Okay, just a little bit more with the Unidrive, but again, get yourself one. 2 years ago, I made an open letter video addressed to Bob Ebeling of Jext Telez and Jack White of himself. Gentlemen and ladies, today the muses sing, and we hearken to Detroit fuzz pedal producers Jext Telez. Do you know how to plunk a git fiddle? Well, at least for me, it has been a very great pleasure to use the Jext Telez White Pedal version 2, the one with the red knobs on top and the new old stock transistors inside. This pedal is a Vox Conqueror 1-upper. The White Pedal is not just Jext Telez's premier and flagship fuzz. The White Pedal is better than the best, as I consider it the Detroit clon killer of the killer clon. Requesting that the two men collaborate on a White Pedal version 3. And I suggested an analog tremolo or reverb from 1974 when May Pang dated John Lennon in place of Yoko as the improvements. You know, what would you do with the next version? A year after I made the video, I saw the reverb posting within less than an hour of its being published for the White Pedal version 3. And for some reason I will never understand, I did not buy a White Pedal version 3 while they were for sale. I subsequently mentioned my love and lack online, and a saint sent me a White Pedal version 3. I now ask for help in blessing this person in return. Let me know what I can do to repay this supernal citizen. If you click on any Jext Telez reverb ad, the fuzz unit will be deemed by Reverb.com's algorithm a rare find. Try it yourself. Just go on Reverb, look up any Jext Telez pedal. It'll have the little badge Rare Find next to it. Well, everyone with the exception of the white pedal versions 1 and 2. That said, only 50 white pedal version 3s were made. As said on their ad, Jext Telez themselves said, only 50 to be made, guaranteed, highly sought after, and rare. Don't I know it? And this is from Jext Telez's Reverb listing back when this is for sale. The new white pedal version 3 is the work of art continued. Jext went back to the drawing board to fix some long-time wishes. It's fuller sounding, more aggressive fuzz, and the Yoko is now located on top and has 6 positions. More bass, fuller, rounder tone. 6-position Yoko, 3 classic positions, then they repeat with less highs. Paper and oil cap for their 3 darker positions. New blend of transistors, vintage black button, and modern silicon, which give the fuzz some extra bite, attack, and snarl, while the vintage ones add warmth in just the right spots. Limited quantities available. And also about the white pedal version 3. Beefier, better, the best. Jack White should try the white pedal version 3 simply for the fact that 3 is Jack's favorite number. So here's my call out to Jack to let him borrow my white pedal version 3. You need to play this pedal. It's a classic. I did some guts shots. I never do this, but I did it for this overview, trying to, always improve, of every single fuzz pedal ahead of filming today. And I was laughing to myself, maybe I should blur out the innards of the Jext Telez version 3 simply because it's such a rare pedal. I'm not sure if anyone else has published the innards of this, and why should I be the first? Let the mystery linger a little bit longer, especially since the white pedal is perhaps the most copied by just regular people of all the Jext Telez fuzz units. So maybe the secrets of this fuzz should stay a mystery as long as possible. So now, without any further ado, I'm going to play the white pedal version 3. Very excited. Now for that cactuar sound, rolling back the Ringo, rolling back the bass. Didn't he play drums? Normie, normie, normie. Normie, normie, normie. custom leveling setting, rolling back that treble to 12 o'clock. So the White Pedal V3 is amazing, and repeated phrase of the day. I could keep playing this singing. It's wonderful. I adore it, as I would hope and assume you do too upon hearing it just this one time. I hope to make a video just dedicated to the White Pedal version 3, but this overview had to happen sooner than later, so it came first. So this pedal is lovely, wonderful, the rarest, possibly the rarest of all Jext Telez pedals outside of the Jext Right. The rarest pedal. Hello, this is your TV friend once again, just taking a little break from the video to present an ad to you. I gotta pay the bill somehow. Well, I have something very special. Since you like vintage things, you know, every Jext Telez pedal uses vintage parts and is vintage inspired, you get inspired by vintage things yourself. And so, let me show you something vintage. This is music related and from Detroit, where I'm a Detroiter. This is a record bag from Lee's Monroe Music. This is a store where Motown was founded. This is a store that the proprietor, my best friend, Lee Kennedy, was best friends with John Coltrane, who walked through the door. There's a great story of Kennedy's Canadian friend saying, I don't know if you really know Coltrane. And he turns around, and there's Coltrane standing looking right at him, and he's so surprised by it, he fainted. And he woke up, and there's Coltrane, you know, looking down like he's like, am I dead? You know, like I just saw John Coltrane. A lot of stories. I can go on and on. Believe me, I can go on and on. But this is the logo that connects that whole store. This is the logo that Lee commissioned one of the original hippies in the 1960s, a man by the name of Harmon Weems, made this logo on this record bag right here. And so whenever you bought a record at his store, Lee would put it in this bag and you walk around with this bag. You know, it's almost like a walking billboard. But Lee didn't want to stop there. No, he wanted to further capitalize on this walking billboard phenomenon. And so he had t-shirts made to look just like those record bags. There was just one issue, one regret. All these decades later that Lee's always had, the t-shirts were made in polyester, the material, more than one type of thread or fabric in it. He always wanted it to be 100% cotton, but he kind of went with a more affordable route at the time. So I took Lee's original t-shirts to a 30-year plus professional, and he measured it. He took all kinds of pictures, and he matched the colors just right. And I have for you today, this is the front of the shirt, just like the originals, except 100% cotton. This is the original shirt Lee's Monroe Music sold at his store in downtown Detroit. And then on the back, this beautiful logo, just like the original record sleeve or record bag. So maybe I'll hold it up. How can I do this? I guess I'll like hold it like this. But you see, it's just like the record bag, the logo. It's got this beige. And the original t-shirts had this red and black as opposed to orange and brown. So very true to the original. And I might add, not only is this 100% cotton, no, I didn't stop there. This is 6.1 ounce cotton. That's like a Carhartt shirt type thickness. We're here in Detroit. It gets a little chilly at times, most of the year, in fact. Almost seems like all year round sometimes, some years. But this is comparable to like a Carhartt shirt. But better than a Carhartt shirt, it's cheaper. I'm not charging as much as a Carhartt shirt. Go on their website. I looked it up I'm charging a more affordable price. And what do you get on top of this more affordable price? You get exclusive vintage reissue art. You can't beat it. Support my channel, support what I do here. Get in touch with me right here, and we'll work out how I can sell you one of these shirts. And if you have a store and you want to put these on consignment, contact me through the same means and we'll work something out. Thank you very much for watching this ad presentation, and now we'll get back to the regularly scheduled video. And now from the White Pedal version 3 to the Rangelord Blue Tip Black Glass OC44. The Rangelord is a pedal I did not initially understand. I bought the pedal expecting a perfect Tony Iommi Black Sabbath fuzz, which it can give, but I did not know how to use the pedal. This is a treble booster, and paired with a nice amp, you can get gorgeous dark sounds. Tony Iommi is a man that cannot be stopped. He lost 2 fingertips at age 17 in a factory accident. Iommi was about to go on tour as a guitar player across his homeland of England when this accident happened. A coworker joked to Tony that he could play like the adept chicken thief and jazz guitarist, Django Reinhardt, who also badly injured 2 of his fingers when he knocked over a candle that set ablaze the wagon he shared with his wife. Playing with only a couple fingers, Tony and Iommi sounds like a vaudeville act. Playing with only a couple fingers, because the others were cut off, Tony Iommi and Django Reinhardt cut timeless tunes. I just have one thing to say to Tony Iommi and Django Reinhardt. Quit stealing my moves. This now from Jext Telez's reverb listing on the Rangelord OC44 Blue Tip Black Glass. The germanium is measured smoking hot perfect for a Rangemaster. This pedal will deliver you rock bliss in its rawest, most vintage form. Jext Telez is back to bring you small limited batch quantities of all our best pedals. Colin Simon and Bob Ebeling, the Lunatic Fringe Revisited. No expense spared, made 100% the same as they ever were. These feature the heard of but not seen Blue Tip Black Glass OC44. They sound incredible, 1070s Black Sabbath. We measured specifically for this pedal and only this pedal. We've combed through our germanium, and this brings to a close our stock of HFE. What does that mean, HFE? I tried to Google it, so help me out, people watching at home who are a lot smarter than I am, in the comments below. This brings to a close our stock of HFE measured correctly for Rangemaster stock of original Mollard Black Glass OC44. And about the Rangelord also, singing bass buzz at the bottom of the note. High and low are amazing. I've got it set to the low setting I'm going to start with. It's got low, mid, and high. But I need to explore the mid a bit more, yet I found it to be amazing on its own. I think people that assume this pedal should only be used with the knob all the way on have not used this pedal enough, because there are amazing sounds you can get by dialing back the knob with the pedal on its own, or especially when you pair the Rangelord with another pedal. So something I like to do is dial it back literally just above it being off, and then play, and you get this, you still get the coloration on your sound, but then you have like a softer sound. But then if you put this in front of or ahead of a very boisterous pedal, it'll tame it. Or actually not in front of, if you put it on either side, experiment. This is a very useful pedal, the Rangelord. So without any further ado, let's hear the Jext Telez Rangelord. Now the trick I do, let me just say, when I have it on low, I have the bass, just the bass, because this is very simple, just one knob for volume, one knob between bass and treble, just to either end is either extreme. So I have it set all the way to the bass in my tone, to accentuate the bass, and it just sings. I do the same when I hit it to the middle, the high setting. I put it all the way to the treble on my amp and on my guitar, I should say. I do the same with the bass. I roll off the treble when I play with the bass. And this pedal just makes my music so much better. And again, when I first bought this, I didn't understand how to use it properly. And maybe some of you might have a Jext Telez pedal at home and you haven't learned how to pair it with your guitar and your amp or whatever your rig is to get the best sound. But experiment and you'll find wonderful things, especially with such a quality piece of equipment like a Jext Telez FUZZ unit. Or I guess is this a fuzz unit? It's a treble booster. What would you call it? Just treble booster? It makes fuzz. It causes breakup. It sounds like a bad thing, but it's a good thing. Oh, and then for that Tony Iommi, I think you get that when you have the low setting on, just playing chords, because it sings on single notes, but on chords you get this growl. Wait, I'm playing so slappy. Not a good groove, but a good tone. So, even if you don't play well, you'll sound good, right? Learn to play well too, right? That's important, I think. All right, moving on, we go from the range lord to the buzz tone. The high gain triple RCA spaghetti logo 2N404 buzz tone, that is. During the apex of the Summer of Love in 1967, Pink Floyd released their debut album, Piper at the Gates of Dawn, which was the brainchild of psychedelic icon and iconoclast Syd Barrett, using both a Selmer Buzztone amp as well as a Selmer Buzztone pedal, as pointed out by a brilliant viewer of one of my previous Jext Telez FUZZ unit videos. Syd went crazy in 1967 and disappeared by 1969. LSD was not the sole culprit of his dip into schizophrenia, according to Roger Waters. No matter what tipped over Syd Barrett into insanity, Barrett was a rock and roll casualty who was the first noteworthy acid death in culture. I didn't even know he was sick. Here is a controversial take. Syd's own family did not consider him crazy, just maladjusted. Maybe Syd was on the spectrum and was prematurely ostracized by his band, with the press inventing worse stories about Syd's state of mind. Although Waters and Gilmore did help produce Syd Barrett's solo records, which I give them credit for, I still feel queasy that they seem to back away from him after they all came up and had stardom and fame and all the rest together. They should have stuck together, but they kind of let him drift off, never to return. I think Barrett's bandmates were poison to him by their inaction to be the cure to Barrett's ills through further involvement in his life. They came up with excuses saying, his family said he doesn't want to be seen. I don't know. They should have really triple checked on that. It just doesn't really seem right to me. Maybe I don't know the full story. Well, here are some fighting words on top of what I just said. Pink Floyd's body of work suffered by the exclusion of Syd Barrett. I would gladly trade any of Floyd's classic albums as we know them to hear what Barrett's influence would have been had the band managed to cast out Syd's dark spirits. Now I will play for you the Jext Telez Buzztone, and this particular Jext Telez Buzztone model is set at a higher gain than the original, and it rips. The Jext Telez Buzztone summons a rich, full-range, amp-like distortion reminiscent of classic fuzzes like the Unitone, Fuzzface, and Fuzztone. Built with vintage, error-correct germanium transistors, the Buzztone was made as an homage to Syd Barrett's iconic tone on the Pink Floyd's The Piper at the Gates of Dawn. Well built, very reactive to the playing, and works great to volume/tone roll-off. I'm quite impressed with the 3, 6, and 9 volt option. You see there's a toggle switch here in the middle, 3, 6, and 9. Right now it's on the 3. On the left you have depth for the sort of the fuzz, and on the right you have volume, which is volume. The voltage selector gives a good selection of tones, with the 3 volt being the buzziest, which makes sense as the original Selmer Buzztone circuit was 3 volts only. The 9 volt can get huge and full sounds, fairly reminiscent of a fuzz face, and the 6 volt reminds me of the classic Tonebender tones. The 3 volt setting is the juiciest, saggiest, sponge-headed fuzz freakout in this 24-hour Technicolor dream. The 6 and 9 get tighter, louder, and ain't no squares, but I can walk through walls with 3 volts on the brain. The Buzztone is the way. The guitar's volume and tone knobs play a crucial role with this one. I can get a lot of great sounds out of this one. Construction is awesome as well. Don't expect wall of fuzz, heavy low-end sustain, modern stuff here. This is that works with your guitar and amp like a glove stuff. Your volume and tone knobs become ultra powerful. Your hands become godlike. I don't want to invoke being sacrilegious, but this is quite a good pedal, we'll say. The buzz tone, Piper at the Gates of Dawn, very vintage sounding. Now this pedal, the 6 volt was the one I took the longest to get used to, because the 3, I love it with single notes, the 9, I love it with chords, but the 6 is sort of like that Goldilocks, that sweet spot, even I think preferred by the makers of the pedal themselves, the fellas at Jext Telez. So without any further ado, let's hear the Jext Telez buzz tone. This is a high gain edition of the buzz tone. Starting with the 3 volt setting. Now to the 6. I love that, the woo, when it switches. Now to the 9. Okay, from 6 to 3, 3 to 9. 3 to 9. Whoa, I love that. But do you hear that with chords on the 9-volt? So good. So good, this pedal. I've done full big old, hour-long videos on this pedal alone, and it just... This pedal is something special. I used to think it was the loudest Jext Telez pedal until I got my hands on the Black Drone Wasp, which is the loudest that I've heard, possibly of all, Jext Telez pedal. Now, as always, I could keep going talking about this pedal. It's a wonderful pedal, and only 25, I think 20 were made. Boy, is it a nice pedal. But get yourself a standard buzz tone and hear what all the buzz is about. Now, next up, we will go from the buzz tone on to the dizzy tone version 7. Not Sven, 7. A new study found that men with fuzz pedals are more attractive than men without fuzz pedals. More great work from the University of Bob Ebeling. You will look and sound attractive with this attractive looking and sounding Jext Telez Dizzy Tone version 7. This pedal, the Dizzy Tone version 7, it'll get you into Jimi Hendrix territory. Admittedly, Hendrix's most utilized fuzz was the Arbiter fuzz face, and we will play through a Jext Telez Jext face before this video is over. But Hendrix did own one of the original Super Fuzz pedals that he picked up in London, which has a very similar circuit to the Dizzy Tone, and this is why I claim Hendrix played the Dizzy Tone. I cannot find direct evidence of Hendrix ever using or owning a Dizzy Tone, but Hendrix certainly used a very near circuit. That said, I think the Dizzy Tone sounds better playing the American National Anthem than the Jext face does, because the Dizzy Tone's tightness allows for more angular playing to accentuate the emotions. What a song and what connotations it carries. It has a new old stock, this pedal right here, the Jext Telez Dizzy Tone version 7. This pedal has a new old stock Mollard OC81Z transistor complemented by a pair of new old stock Mollard Get 113 or Mollard Get 113 transistors. A dynamic and brutal fuzz tone, many consider the version 7 to be Jext Telez's best work. Version 7, this is from their Tumblr page, which I adore. I love all the writing that they do, just such brilliant authorship there, not just of their pedals, but the descriptions about them, of them. The high gain perfection, easily accessible harmonics, and more complex range. A high gain but high headroom tone structure, the best of what the Mollard OC81Z can do. A mid-range snarl, rock and roll fantasy, rich and delicious smorgasbord of rock. The Mollard OC81Z are paired with two perfect low-noise red Mollard Get 113 transistors. The result is a gnarly, ripping, evil, and unique fuzz distortion. Among the eight different Dizzy Tone models, these have more range available in the dials. This is my favorite, as I said before, my favorite American National Anthem pedal. This pedal has a huge sound and offers a gorgeous gated sound. I guess we should hear a little bit of it now. I've been saying it, so I'll keep saying it without any further ado. The Jext Telez Dizzy Tone version 7. Woo, yeah. Oh, now let's hear some chords. So yeah, that gated sound works on chords and individual notes. It's just across the board, universal and wonderful once you learn how to zig with the zag, how to, go with the flow, as they say. Woo! Not enough time with any of these pedals. Am I getting yet such a long video this is already? How does that make sense? Well, a lot of pedals to get through. That's how, I guess. So next up, we're going to keep in the Dizzy Tone family, I believe. Yes. From the Dizzy Tone version 7 to now the Dizzy Tone version 5 triple black glass. You know, Ray Manzarek, keyboard player of The Doors, classic rock band, lived until 2013, passing away sadly at 74 years old. While his bandmate, the leader, the singer of the band, the face of it, Jim Morrison, he passed away in 1971, only 27 years old, Club 27. But, it's curious, if Ray Manzarek had died in 2011, just 2 years earlier, instead of being 74, he would have been 72. 72 versus 27, the reverse. Ray Manzarek was quite a woo-woo fellow, very much the type to believe in any sort of theory put before him. I wonder, 72 versus 27, why isn't there a Club 72? Way more people die at that age. I guess it's just not exclusive enough. Oh wait, there is a 72 club, and the fee for entry is straight up demonic, so don't join it. This just in. Classic rock drummer John Densmore is alive and well at age 79. The curse of the Doors. I very recently reached out to John Densmore's manager requesting an interview, and to my great surprise, I must have had a good pitch. I got a response within minutes, asking who I was with and what it was for. I said I am my own guy and that it was for the love. I had already cited my relevant work in the initial email. I never heard back up or down. Oh well. If you are a really cool person, reach out to me so I can interview you instead of John Densmore. I should add that Robbie Krieger is also alive and well at age 78. Robbie Krieger is a guitar player for The Doors. And while in The Doors, Robbie Krieger's most used distortion was a tone bender. A dizzy tone is a variant of the Solosound Tone Bender Mark III. So, as I said before, with Jimi Hendrix kind of playing a tone bender, super fuzz, a dizzy tone and tone bender are cousins, as it were. So this pedal, the Dizzy Tone, might be something that Robbie Krieger, who's still alive, might want to play. So if you're out there watching or someone who knows Robbie Krieger, get a hold of him, tell him to try out the Jext Telez Dizzy Tone. He'll love it. This is from the original Jext Telez reverb ad for the Dizzy Tone pedal here. Jext Telez desoldered a prime original Elka Dizzy Tone and measured drift on original components. There were variations noted and incorporated from the commonly perceived stock values of Dizzy Tones as well. The Jext Telez Dizzy Tone brings the two extremes closer together. A player's fuzz with a snarling lip. It's a fine-tuned and perfectly balanced fuzz. The Jext Telez Dizzy Tone is a recreation of the original 1966 or 1967 Elka Dizzy Tone, a variant of the Solosound Tonebender Mark III. The Dizzy Tone is the edgy brother to the Baldwin Burns Buzz-Around. Dizzy Tones are one of the fullest sounding tonebender variations with an evil attitude, roaring, spitting, screaming goodness. There are 8 versions of the Jext Telez Dizzy Tone. Jext Telez uses the same board construction with no expense spared part selection throughout, especially the sourced, measured, and circuit-tested original germanium transistors. This features a trio of new old stock 1960s high-gain selected transistors, rare and coveted selections topped off with a high-gain Mollard black glass OC44. It's like the version 2, but with a smooth extension another half octave into the low end. This pedal has amazing bottom end and gives a full sound. You can get a million sounds out of this pedal by changing the knobs around. Unity gain is something to consider when using this pedal. Of all the Jext Telez pedals, unity gain on the Dizzy Tones most must be considered when adjusting the knobs, but when adjusting the knobs, you get so many different sounds. Very versatile this pedal is. Let's hear the Dizzy Tone version 5. Triple black glass. OC44. There are so many sounds that this pedal can get, and I am not even scratching the surface. So, yeah. So many things I can do. Just a little bit more. Ooey gooey goodness. Such good pedals. Now from the Dizzy Tone version 5 to the Black Drone Wasp. Well, the Learning Annex in Detroit is offering a new course to teach women how to play guitar behind their head. The fee to enroll in the class is $100. The fee to watch the class is $200. This pedal spits and sputters and hisses and growls. It has the fattest bottom end and loudest output. From Reverb about this, the Black Drone Wasp by Jext Telez. The Black Drone Wasp is a germanium fuzz from Jext Telez that promises a full and rich low end with delightfully gritty distortion characteristics. Bringing Jext Telez's signature blend of tone and style, the Black Drone Wasp comes in a black chassis with a white wasp graphic and lettering, 2 tone control knobs, and 3 switches for endless tone shaping possibilities. Jext Telez called the Black Drone Wasp their flagship triple germanium fuzz pedal. This is from their listing when they sold it long ago. Made to the exact same spec as the originals by the same 2 space cadets, Colin Simon and Bob Ebeling, features a trio of new old stock RCA 2N404 that nearly took Bob's sanity, testing every pedal to perfection, perfection on the HFE, perfection on the leakage. Most people compare it to the Big Muff, but I guess a germanium Big Muff, snarling, evil kind of stuff, but with a huge range from the overdrive to double fuzz super loud and eating itself alive kind of deal. Big Muff meets Tone Bender done up with high dollar germanium. It covers a lot of ground. It could be the loudest fuzz out there too at the top of its range. It growls. Presenting a brand new fuzz designed in a long drawn out era of insanity by Bob Ebeling and Colin Simon, 8 different prototypes led to the final goal. Create a fuzz that wants to reach out and rip your throat out. Create a fuzz that actually scares people. Create a fuzz that offends people, makes them turn inward in an automatic fight or flight response. Once the fear is past, reward them with a singular new voice for all forms of rock and roll. We achieve this not by out-of-bias square waving or other common kooky lo-fi tricks, but rather through resolution, fidelity, full germanium flavor taken to new heights. Keep the Jext Telez mandatories well intact, a forceful, well-represented full low end, distortion characteristics that are at once classy and downright cutting-edge rock abandon. Clean up with a volume knob must be immaculate. Prerequisites. We only use the best germanium, regardless of how hard it is to source or how expensive it is to buy. We measure every transistor at least 3 times in varying temperatures and humidity. We create a tight tolerance which every transistor must fall within. No dogs allowed. Sounds like, who's that? Jose Feliciano. No dogs allowed. No dogs allowed. No soul on earth will ever receive a second-class Jext Telez pedal. Every single pedal must be as mind-blowing as the prototype. It's scary loud and raw and evil. It's triple holy germanium. All 3 RCA 2N404. It's what every Big Muff ever made wishes they were. It devours tone benders easily, overlording them into zombie robots. What a description. What a description. In good hands, the Black Drone Wasp is the sound of a new band. In great hands, the Black Drone Wasp by Jext Telez is the sound of a new genre. Norm MacDonald described a benefit of smoking. Even when you are doing nothing, you are still doing something when you smoke. The same thing goes with the Jext Telez Black Drone Wasp. You don't have to do anything and it still sounds like you're playing. This pedal's feedback has so much personality and character that it bleeds over into whatever you are doing and looks like you are the one doing it. This is the loudest Jext Telez pedal I have ever played. I was deeply, deeply, deeply honored to interview the co-founder of Jext Telez, Mr. Bob Ebeling, and we talked briefly about the idea that louder volume does not equate to better sound per se. I believe that was in our second interview. You can look up on my YouTube page. And just, I adore this pedal. This is the latest Jext Telez pedal I got. I bought this used off Reverb, and I love it. They don't make these anymore. It's sad they don't, because wait till you hear. You'll hear why. These are wonderful, wonderful. I love that. Volume off, volume on. You see what I mean about you don't have to do anything, you're already doing something? In a live show, the feedback from this pedal just creates such a mood. I love it. Like I said, the sound of a new genre in great hands, the sound of a new band in good hands. Some people think that feedback is a bad thing. And certainly a lot of Jext Telez fuzz units have a low noise floor, but this pedal was intentionally designed with extra feedback that would give character to the sound of your music. And as you've heard, I think it does just that in spades, beautifully, beautifully. The Jext Telez Black Drone Wasp. This pedal really just brings out the best. All of these do bring out the best in me, but maybe because it's the latest, the newest one that I've purchased, I've most been playing with the Black Drone Wasp. Oh, such a nice pedal. And my phrase of the day, with the, or one of my phrases of the day, if I only had more time, I'd show you more of this pedal, but I have to move on out of interest in time. Oh, I love that. Wait. You see that? So I'm muting it. Oh, wait. Where's my volume? Love that. You could really have fun and create an epic moment in a concert using just this pedal alone, and the feedback it gives you. Now, the final pedal of the day, the Jext Face by Jext Telez. I'm filming this Jext Telez pedal overview in the middle of August 2024, Anno Domini, in the year of our Lord. But last month, from the time of this taping, the United States observed Independence Day. Happy birthday, America. I hope you like fuzz. I selected this next song because I hold it close to my heart. It's a grower, I'll be honest with you. You might have to listen to it a couple of times. It's called The Star-Spangled Banner. More like Star-Spangled Banger. Oh, I will play the United States National Anthem using the same pedal that Jimi Hendrix used at Woodstock in 1969. And I'll have you know, viewers at home, if you kneel during the national anthem, I will reach through the screen and lift you up to your feet, pilgrim. Some people ask if a pedal can doom, go into a metal frenzy. I ask if a pedal can national anthem. And before I show you the national anthem, let me just read from the reverb listing for this pedal. Jext Telez upped the ante to lead off 2018 when they first made this by tackling the sacred germanium fuzz face. Deceptively simple, the Jext face is a product of typical Jext Telez obsession. Jext found an original red 1966 fuzz face that was capable of melting faces in pure holiness of meltdown tones. Using that pedal as their model, Bob and Colin spent months prototyping rolling vintage transistors, capacitors, resistors, experimenting with many different layouts, wire types, wire lengths, capacitance issues wherever they could be addressed. Jext wanted rich, deep, organic low end. Jext wanted an extra setting that was biased hotter than a standard issue. Jext wanted the holiest, quietest noise floor, most glorious distortion characteristic vintage new old stock transistors. Jext got everything they wanted through torturous work ethic and listening. We offer you a switch that gives you two flavors of bias, and we custom bias both settings for each pedal. This little switch right here is the bias switch. This is a smooth and slight fuzz. This is a very mellow and vintage fuzz with a thick sound. And now for the last guitar playing of the day, I'm going to play for you the Jext Telez Jext Face. And I have to play the national anthem. I mean, Jimmy did it. I can do it. Not as well, but I can attempt to approach its goodness. somehow. So good. But I must say, as I said before, the dizzy tone, I think, gives a better rendition of the national anthem. In my opinion, it's got a thicker sound. It's just more raucous and gives off that emotion better, in my opinion. So, and now let's hear some chords on the same pedal. And by chords, I mean like one chord. I don't even know what it's called. I don't know how to play the git fiddle. I taught myself. Help me out, folks. Give me some help in the comment section or whatever. However you can think to help me. Besides telling me to quit. I could go on forever and ever till the cows come home, but I think I should wrap it up. And no better way to quickly wrap up than to say a whole lot of things. Actually, I should address the Jext Fox. For the 11th consecutive year, folks, Jext Telez ranked first in customer satisfaction for all North American guitar pedal companies. But do you know what ranked least in satisfaction? 911 Pedal Company. What a terrible name for a pedal company. It reminds me of that tragedy. Why are you guys laughing? I walked through blood and bones in the streets of Manhattan trying to find my brother. He was north of Detroit. I went through 10 pedals for you all today, and I would love for the Jext Fox to be my 11th Jext Telez pedal. When the latest production of the Jext Telez Jext Fox pedals was made in 2018, they said those were the last ones for a while, which doesn't mean it was the last for all time. It wasn't their final edition, they like to say, or the final. So I hold out hope that Jext Telez will make more Jext Fox pedals in the future. Either way, they make wonderful equipment, so I look forward to see what new brilliant pedals they have in store in the future. So now to close off, I have 12 requests for you. 1. Turn to Christ and follow the gospel. Look up my gospel presentation videos across my video platforms. I've been wearing today an In-N-Out Burger t-shirt, and I did a gospel presentation, The Gospel According to In-N-Out. This joint's been around since like the 50s or the 60s, In-N-Out Burger, but it wasn't until the early to mid 90s, the CEO before the current one, it's a family business, he came to Christ, and like a lot of Christians, he felt the need, the necessity to share his faith with others. And being the CEO of In-N-Out Burger at the time, he decided to print Bible verses on some of the packaging. Sadly, he passed away not long after, but fortunately, not only did his family continue that tradition, they added more verses, 6 in all. So I wrote them down in a certain order using the King James Version, and I'm going to read them now to you in the hopes that I can share the gospel. So look it up. Just because of this shirt, you might like it. 2. Please pray for me and I'll pray for you. 3. Please send me a Jext Fox, since it is the last of the 9 standard Jext Telez FUZZ units I yet lack. And if you are in touch with Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster and also own a Jext pedal that you want to give me, I am willing to be your mortal beneficiary. If you clicked on this video, not because of me, but because of Jext Telez, you are clearly smart and discerning and of discriminating taste and great style and class. This means that you would be the ideal person to ask the following questions. I never figured out message boards. They confuse me. Reddit and 4chan and the rest, they all confound me like Waldo in a House of Mirrors. You can't find him. So you, the audience at home, you will have to act as my brain trust in place of some anonymous internet message board. It'd be funny, though, if a message board was started on the basis of this video. Like a snake eating itself, or I don't even know what the analogy would be there. So here are my last requests, 4 through 12. 4. Let me know what vintage amp I ought to get to replace my 1964 K803 tube amp, 3-watt 8-inch field coil speaker. My existing practice amp lacks the physical capability to reproduce all the sound that my Jext Telez FUZZes want to make. I want a vintage amp that would be ideal for all my Jext Telez pedals, but also nice without any pedals. And I also want a classic looking amp. So any advice, suggestions, donations toward that end, I would accept. 5. Let me know what vintage guitar I ought to get to replace my cheapest guitar in the world. Obviously, I would want a guitar that played beautifully through fuzz pedals. And again, a nice looking vintage guitar would be nice too. Bonus, if forced to make a choice, would you rather buy a really good guitar and a cheap amp, or a really cheap guitar and a top-notch amp? You can always get another amp, but it's not so easy to find a guitar that's pretty good. Do you agree? So guitar over amp, or amp over guitar? Which way is the pecking order here? 6. Let me know what is the best octave pedal on earth to pair with my fuzz units. The Jext Fox, which I lack, is the only octave fuzz unit Jext Telez has yet released. 7. What is the best multi-effects unit to pair with my fuzz pedals for home and stage and road and busking? 8. How did you find Jext Telez, and how did you find this video? 9. Rap and hip-hop currently supplant rock in sales and in the charts. How can rock overcome rap? In my opinion, demographics is the best guess. 10. What kind of music do you play with your Jext Telez fuzz pedals? 11. If you could only use humbuckers or single coils for the rest of your life, which one would you use and why? And then finally, 12. What question did I forget to ask, or should I ask next time? Thank you very much for watching. My name is Ryan Ellis. I already asked you to pray for me, and I will pray for you. I hope you have a nice day. And before I say au revoir, as I've said before, be the change you wish to see in the world and run for local elected office. And Christians, become your local Sunday school teacher. Do not just trust the process, become the process. Thank you for watching. My name is Ryan Ellis. Again, please pray for me. I will pray for you. God bless you. Au revoir. I was so foolish when you gave me pure bliss. I don't need a witness, my deeds are all filth. Please sanctify me, I know I defy the love that you gave me to follow my will. Make straight my path, Lord, open a new door. Mountains for Moses upon me built.